It's elections week here at USU. Primaries were held at the beginning of this week, and now we are down to a handful of candidates. The votes were cast during the week, then tallied and announced Tuesday night. Our two finalists for ASUSU president are Hannah Blackburn and Christian Thrapp.
I feel that I'm able to go in with that insight, to go in and really make that my emphasis, that students will be heard if I'm putting into office, because I understand how important they are.
We are doing everything that the students want, that we're putting everything that the students want in there, while doing our best to not waste money, essentially.
For Executive VP include Ben Wilson and Abigail Kingsford. Here are a few of the other election results, and to see all the results, visit vote.usu.edu. Voting is now closed, and your ASUSU officers for the 2012-2013
gasped as magician and comedian Adam London destroyed, lost, and returned a newlywed's ring as part of his act last Thursday.
I went up on stage and he cracked a lot of jokes, and I knew that people were looking at me laughing, so it made me laugh harder because I knew that I was in front of everyone. And then he took my wedding ring, which I was nervous, but I knew I'd get it back. And then he just kept going, and then all of a sudden I opened up this M&M bag and my ring was in it. And I have no idea how it happened.
Did we win? We sure did. Her diamond ring.
Everybody was great. It's always fun to go to the colleges and the universities, because it's fun to play off of the kids and interact with everybody, and I don't feel like I'm that far away in age difference, and it's just fun.
Adam London's trademark is a rubber duck. When he was younger, one of his friends gave him a rubber duck tie because he thought he was such a quack. London said he received so many compliments on the tie that he decided to stick with it as a trademark.
The magical duck cloth. Got it at Walmart. Can anybody get into this college? Is that...
Though many of his magic tricks weren't so magical, his comedy left students gasping for air. Jessica Black, ATV News.
You run like a girl. You wrestle like a girl. Those may sound like insults to you, but for 12-year-old Haley Cox, they're compliments.
I won Super State, which is high schools, and they come together and state champions and other kids wrestle. I was the only girl in my division, and I took first, and I was the only girl to ever do that. Utah Super State Tournament, 5th, 6th grade division, 75-pound champion.
Haley got into this sport about 4 years ago because of our wrestling background. Both of her brothers, Tanner and Cooper, have wrestled for years. And she, being at tournaments every weekend, was tired of sitting in the stands watching. And of course at home, they're always practicing on her, and she's helping them with moves. And so she said to her dad, I would really like to try this myself.
I didn't really expect it. I wanted to be able to compete with the boys, but I didn't really expect me to go this far.
She's technically superior to most of the boys that she wrestles. She's also very strong. She gets up at 5:30 in the morning, and she's at my private gym with all the other advanced boys, and she's lifting weights, she's doing powerlifting, she's doing all the things, and so she's it's not like she's just smart and fast. She's actually very strong for her size.
That's 75 pounds. That is her body weight. She's squatting on a front squat, squatting her body weight.
When Haley steps out onto the match, it's about who this person is and how I'm going to win the match. It's not necessarily, oh, I'm wrestling a boy. She's viewed as a competitor when she's on the mat, not necessarily a girl.
Haley says she hopes to continue her wrestling career through high school, college, and one day the Olympics.
This is one of my costumes.
They're the costume and candy experts of their time. Children all across the nation spend months deliberating just what they're going to wear on Halloween night. I asked children what they thought about Halloween to determine what the difference was between a child's version of Halloween and the adult version of Halloween.
When they open the door, I think trick or treat, and yeah.
They just give you candy?
Yeah, it's weird.
Even though they have no idea what free candy has to do with dressing up, the Larson family continues to enjoy trick-or-treating year after year.
My favorite thing about trick-or-treating is I like going over and getting all the candy, and I like wearing my costume a lot. Get in my costume get my bag ready for candy. And that's pretty much it.
For some kids, Halloween is all about playing pranks and collecting candy, while for other kids, Halloween is all about the costumes.
When I see someone's costume, when I see something I don't like, or it's a little strange to me, I tell them tips how to get it more fabulous.
She calls herself the costume expert, saying she knows exactly what it takes to produce a stellar costume that will grant you the most amount of treats.
Usually, I try and find more stuff for my costume, or I just try and find something like a cool bag that could camouflage with my costume. First, you need to know what you're gonna be, and then you can probably sketch what you think you should look like, and then show it to someone, an adult or something, and tell them, hey, this is my costume, you have any ideas? Or something like that. And it's great if it's homemade, and you also could go get it from the store, either way, but I think homemade is cool.
How do you spend the day after Halloween? Do you honor and celebrate the lives of your ancestors? Well, some students do, and Jessica Black stopped by to see how these students celebrate death.
This event is Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, and it's celebrating our ancestors. So we ask visitors from the community or Utah State students to come and just engage with the activities, and along with see the presenter that is here, so that they can learn a cultural event, a celebration that the Hispanics do.
It took me a while to find these other flowers and what their names were.
The presentation was given to help community members learn about Day of the Dead and have an opportunity to experience the celebration firsthand.
People sometimes get the idea that it's kind of morbid, where you're worshiping death, and it's quite the opposite. Instead of the misconception of worshiping death, you're actually honoring and loving your loved ones who have deceased.
There was an altar set up where participants could leave food, tokens, and trinkets for ancestors, family, and friends who had passed away.
Photograph is of my father, and the wallet and the turtle are just kind of mementos to him. Photographs usually are placed on the top, but because we don't have too much room, they're also on the side. So these can be set up like this inside of a home. They can also be set up in a cemetery, and people often will hold all-night vigils where they pray for their ancestors or talk and share stories, and they'll go from dusk until dawn. If we're not near where our relatives are, we go to like pioneer cemeteries and find the really neglected headstones and clean them up, and we either put flowers or white stones on their headstones.
It's a joyous occasion. It's not filled with tears, not filled with fear. It's more just love.
Jessica Black, ATV News.
The Anthropology Museum holds annual celebrations for Day of the Dead every year and say it's a holiday they always look forward to.